Oh. Alrighty. You know who's back.
Surprise, mother. The king is back.
Thank you, Connor. Yes, the king himself, Chris Stapleton, is back with his 4th solo studio album, Starting Over. Chris took a very raw, acoustic, soulful approach to this record, and I think it really paid off. He obviously teased it as this heavy southern rock burning stuff album on his Instagram before releasing Starting Over. I'm not going to ramble on too long about the context. I'm just really excited to review this thing, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. This album opens up with the title track and lead single, Starting Over. We've all heard it before, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's a nice, positive, open, acoustic, cabin-style song. Very home-style, family feel to it. It's rootsy, it's simple. I think Chris's voice and instruments are captured really nicely. And that's one thing you'll notice over the course of this project. The studio quality of the production, mixes, and instrumentals just really makes this album feel as grand as it is. However, it's also the intention in how they use their resources that puts this record on another level. Though Chris is obviously working with the best people and studios you can get, they don't abuse it or overuse it. The stripped back tracks like Starting Over are just as brilliantly and meticulously produced as heavier, louder songs like the follow-up. It's just things like this that set this album apart from the rest. I've heard lots of albums that are just overproduced because the artist had the facilities, and that's not the case here. Every song here is strong in its own way, and there are times where they just put the instruments down and let the song itself be its own strength. It's something we don't get very often from an expensive household name, but that's just what Chris does. He doesn't go with the flow. And the album really picks up steam in the second track. Devil Always Made Me Think Twice is more what we expected from the teaser video he released a while back. This evil, direct southern rock sound and subject matter. I really like how there's 2 verses before the chorus. Reason being, Chris sings the second verse an octave higher with his big, raspy vocals. But the instrumental doesn't change from the first verse. What this does is it provides a strong, steady build, so the transition into the chorus is smooth and badass. Loving the guitar solos in between verses on this track, and man, when Chris almost yelps to hit these shockingly high notes in the latter half, it's just chills. The instrumental itself isn't anything big or thick. Chris's voice is just so strong, it in itself is like an instrument playing along with the band. It's a swift transition into this slow, minor, sad song, Cold, which is my personal favorite track on here. The instrumental palette on here is more diverse than any other song to be offered. It starts just piano and acoustic guitar before we get introduced to the strings, which help convey this blue mood. It's grand, it's elegant, it sounds straight off of Live in Australia by Elton John. There's just something about the string section as opposed to a single fiddle that when used right is able to bring such glory to a track, and they did just that here. I sound like a broken record, but Chris's range, tone, and pitch is all on point, but that comes to absolutely nobody's surprise. A Blue Rodeo-esque guitar solo for the bridge. This muted electric guitar takes center stage and just helps play as such a perfect transition back into the final chorus, which is like the big climax of the greatest film you've ever seen. Cold is just a masterpiece, and I've been saying that since it came out. The middle of the record is a little all over the place sequentially. The whole record bounces back and forth from slow to fast and quiet to loud, but especially in the middle of this record you'll feel that. We get a few more songs down the general avenue of Starting Over. When I'm With You, Enjoy My Life are 2 more love songs to his significant other. Nothing wrong with them by any means, just nothing wildly unique or new about them. However, also thrown into the mix is the upbeat, wild Outlaw Arkansas. This song really woke me up the first time I heard it. Chris normally builds up his vocals over the course of a track, but Arkansas, he just comes out wailing. It's contagious, it's fun, the whole song is just a jam, and I can see it being a real hit at live shows, whenever they come back. We get a real curveball on the 8th track, Maggie's Song. It's a story about Chris and his family finding a dog in a parking lot before taking the dog in as their own, and then we follow the life of Maggie the dog. The storytelling is really well done here, just stands out amongst all the other songs. It's well paced and humorous before the tear-jerking ending, where, as you could probably guess, Maggie peacefully passes away. Chris does throw in an interesting line in there, however. I can tell you right now that a dog has a soul. This, if you don't know, is referring to this debate within Christianity if animals go to heaven. I'm not going to go in depth because not everyone is religious and wants to hear about it, but if you're interested, it's kind of cool to hear about, so Google it. The album closes off very strong with 3 completely different yet awesome songs. I'm sure we're all well aware of Watch You Burn. If not, it is one of the most stone cold angry songs ever. Chris just slices his heart open and lets it bleed all over this track. It's in response to tragedies like the Las Vegas mass shooting, which obviously targeted a country music festival. It gives me chills. It's a bit of a tearjerker, and it makes you angry in the best way possible. I'm just more than proud Chris released it. To release such an honest song about such a touchy subject on a big project like this is rare, bold, and admirable. He also makes references to other tragedies like the New Zealand synagogue incident. It's an extremely touchy subject, so I'm not going to say anything else, but this is what music is about, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for Chris releasing it. Complete change of pace, however, on the second to last track. Out of all the romantic songs on here, I think You Should Probably Leave is my favorite. The smooth production does a great job of fitting with the song. The harmonies with the background vocalists are super tight and tasteful. The wobbly electric over the dry, muted drums provides this really romantic feel. We also get some organ and acoustic in the bridge. Great tune, almost like an R&B blend, and it's pulled off to a T. Chris closes the album with a statement track titled Nashville, Tennessee. The songwriting on this track is excellent. He personifies Nashville into a friend, and it's just such a pretty song, from the steel and piano-driven production to the lyrics and delivery. It's about Chris parting ways with Nashville, but saying it's like 2 friends respectfully choosing to go their separate ways. One line that stands out to me is when he says, "You're custom made for moving on." Make of that what you wish, but it's one of many lines slipped in here that really make you think. Chris's songwriting and wit is just really put on full display to end the album. Overall, this album is a fantastic journey. At 14 tracks and 54 minutes, you do need to set aside a good chunk of time to listen to it straight through, but that's the only way I would listen to this record. Sure, I'll listen to songs like Cold by themselves, but it's just one of those projects that brings you on a roller coaster ride, and it's brilliant. At first, I didn't like the sequencing, however, once I got the chance to listen to it straight through uninterrupted, I realized how it all fits together just like puzzle pieces. It starts and ends acoustically and soulful and packs a punch in between. It's almost sad listening to the outro of Nashville because, at least for me, I almost took that minute of a send-off to reflect on the album, and I was like, man, that's it. This is what we waited so long for, and it was so freaking worth it. You could argue it's a long track list, but I personally think it's just right. It doesn't feel dragged out at any point. I'm going to go with my gut and give this record a 9 out of 10. I've said this so much, but I keep giving out such high scores on this channel, but I only really review projects that I think are worthy of my time and effort to create a whole review on. Either way, Chris, if you're watching this, thank you for this masterpiece you have blessed us with. And other than that, let me know what you guys thought in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinions. What were your top 3 favorite songs from Starting Over, and where do you think Chris goes next from here? Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and other than that, I think I've said everything I needed to say, so yeah, have a great day.